Hello, thank you for joining me. I'm having a day of recording, so I'm flitting around from spot to spot and getting some in the bag, as I say, because I ran out of pre-recorded pieces and I don't like reaching that stage. I like to have some already set up, scheduled on YouTube. So that's what the aim for today is. And I want to talk about fairness. I don't mean fairness of complexion, hair, or anything. I mean fairness of life, fairness of getting what you feel you should have in life, and learning that what you think you should have isn't always what you get. Because, life can be really, shall we say, horse manure-y to get round the algorithm going, oh, she can't say that word. So life really isn't fair. It's just not fair. And what you put in, you don't always get out. So 2 lessons there that I believe is important that we learn early in life. I certainly learnt that it's not fair bit each Christmas for a few years. My birthday is in January, and on Boxing Day we used to go to my auntie and uncle's, and another auntie and uncle were there, and my 2 cousins. And we'd all had our own family gifts, but we had just extra ones from the various aunties and uncles. And they were often the same gift. And when I opened mine, there was always the comment, oh, that's for your birthday as well. And I used to think, that's not fair. My cousin, she's got exactly the same thing, and hers is just her Christmas present. Maybe a healthy dose of gratitude would have helped in those days. I was grateful for the gift, but not thinking, that's not fair, because it does take the edge off things. And it's something that we need to teach children early on, because if they go through life with great expectations that things will be handed to them on a platter, it doesn't happen. It might do within the family, but in this big old world of ours, it probably wouldn't help them. And I remember a teacher in the staff room of one of the secondary schools that I used to have to rotate round and visit. And she stood in the middle of the staff room, stamping her feet, waving her fists and yelling, "It's not fair! It's not fair!" I think maybe she needed to have had this lesson earlier in her life. I never did find out what she felt was not fair, but I assume it was maybe she'd been given an extra detention duty or something like that. I don't know. But for children, fairness, some of them it's natural. They like to share things, and others, they're out for what they can get. And we went on a double-decker bus to Southport on a visit with the chapel that my mum and dad were members of. And I had my two sons as little ones with us. And I'd made a big cake to cover for all the children. And somebody said, oh, when we were sitting on the bus, can I have a look? So I took the lid off and it got happy birthday on it and a relevant number of candles. And this child whose parents didn't believe in ever telling any of their offspring, I think they had about 3 or 4 children, they never said no. They said they will learn in the world. This little boy came and looked at the cake, said, I'm having some of that, stuck his hand in and grabbed a handful. He learned a lesson from me that day, that one doesn't do things like that. No, I told him in no uncertain terms that that was no way to behave. The cake wasn't his, the cake was my son's, who was by this time in tears. I said, and it's for everybody to share, and you would have been given a piece along with everybody else. But I want it now. So I said, what I want does not always get. And I could hear my mother as I was saying that, because that was what I had always been taught as a child. And it's something that I still think of these days. But there was also a child in one of the schools that I was in, and it really wasn't fair for him. Most of the children had been invited to a party at one of the children's houses. And this poor child, he, bless him, the school did the best that they could for him. He always came dirty and unfed to school. So they'd had a washing machine donated, so they would take his things off. They had a shower put in, they would put him in the shower and put clean uniform on and feed him breakfast and lunch. And when it came to this party, he didn't get an invite. And I happened to be working in that school that day, and the staff were beside themselves. They said, we didn't know the invites had been given out. They were given out outside school, so we weren't aware. Had we known, we would have taken steps. But that little lad, he had enough on his plate as it was. His life wasn't fair, and he didn't need salt rubbing into those wounds of his. So just remember, life isn't fair. If it is, you're very fortunate. But if it isn't, it's the way of the world. And for most of us, it's a heck of a lot more fair than for those who have no home, who struggle to put food on the table, go without so that they can feed the children. That's not fair. So on that note, I will say thank you so much for joining me. Take care and have a think about what you think isn't fair. There's actually a lot around, not just in our own lives, but in this world in general. Take care. Bye for now. Speak to you soon. Bye.